Okay, so come to a comfortable seat. Oh, and I'm sorry, if you have a block or two, that might come in handy today. So if you haven't already, quickly grab a block or something you can use that's similar. And then we'll come to seated. So close your eyes. Feel your seat firmly planted on the earth beneath you, sensing that solid foundation. And then feel your spine lifting and your head just floating evenly between the shoulders. And begin to pay subtle attention to your breath. With each inhale, feel the body expanding in all directions. And each time you exhale, just kind of drawing inward a bit. Begin to let the rhythm of your inhales and exhales bring you more into the present moment. Acknowledging that every inhale is a blessing. And each time you exhale, think of just offering yourself completely to the moment at hand. Be deliberately attentive to your experience as it unfolds, without the usual commentary of the mind. Let your breath be the link to moments of grace and clarity. So in the study of Ayurveda, if you're familiar, winter is the kapha season. And basically it just describes different characteristics of the seasons. Winter, of course, being cold, dark, wet, heavy, which often leads to feelings of lethargy. And so we're going to try to counter that this morning by bringing a little more heat and movement and grounding into our practice. So on your next inhale, gently open your eyes, reach your arms slowly up towards the sky. And then hold here, relax the shoulders down away from your ears. We're going to start with some pranayama called breath of fire or kapalabhati breathing. Okay, so with the arms lifted, we're going to inhale deeply. I'm just going to explain it first for a second. We're going to inhale deeply to the belly, and then we're going to exhale rapidly, drawing navel to spine, okay, about 27 times the exhale. Inhale just comes naturally there. And then we'll take a deep breath in through the nose, filling the belly, and then we'll repeat that 3 more times. Okay, so you can just kind of listen to me at first if you want, and then join in when you're ready. So deep breath in. And then take a deep breath in. And then we'll begin again. So it's all happening through the nose. Navel is drawing quickly towards the spine to force that air out. If at any time you feel dizzy or lightheaded, please stop. Get a deep breath in. And one more round. Deep breath in. And just exhale. Good. Now we're going to make fists with our hands. Keep your arms lifted if they're not too tired. Okay? And then we're going to open them wide. And we're going to rapidly do this, making fists and expanding the fingers. So already creating heat in the body first thing this morning. Okay? And we'll do this for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. And then release the arms down. Interlace the fingers behind the back. And then inhale, lift the heart as the hands reach towards the floor behind you. Gazing up at the sky. And then as you exhale, we're going to bow forward as the hands lift away from the body. And then inhale, coming back up. Release the hands. Switch the position of the legs, so bring the other leg in front. And warm enough now to remove a layer. Okay. And then from here, inhale, sweep the arms up towards the sky. Exhale, extend the arms out from the shoulders. Now we're going to bend the elbows and bring your fingertips to your elbows. Okay. Take a deep breath in here. As you exhale, you're going to twist your torso to the right and then bring right knee to left elbow. And then inhale, center. Exhale, right elbow, left knee. Inhale, center, lifting through the crown of the head. Exhale, navel draws to spine as the elbow and knee connect, or at least come close. Inhale, center. Exhale, the other side. So we're moving slowly. Really draw that navel in and squeeze as you twist and bring elbow to knee. Let's do one more on each side. And then come to center. Keep your fingers on your shoulders. And now we're just going to twist and move a little quicker. So staying stable through the hips and just twisting through the upper body. And then come to center. Extend the arms out wide. And then once again, we'll interlace the hands behind the back, but move everything over one digit this time. And then inhale, lift through the heart, lift your gaze. Exhale, we're going to bow forward as you lift the hands away from the body. And then inhale, sit up tall again. And release the arms. Now just bring your hands to the knees. We're going to do some Kundalini rolls here. So warming up the spine a little bit more. So we're going to make these big circles with our torso, rocking from one hip to the next. Inhaling as the heart draws forward and exhaling as you lean back, navel to spine. The next time you come forward, pause and reverse the direction. And we'll make one more full circle. And then come to center. Okay. From here, let's extend the legs out long and wide, coming into a straddle. The legs as wide apart as possible, feet flexed. And then see if you can find the front of your sits bones. So I like to lift myself up and tilt forward a bit. Okay. And then You can either rest your hands on your thighs or on the floor in front of you, and we're going to continue making those circles with the torso. Little different sensation through the hips here. Inhale forward, exhale as you lean back. And reverse the direction. Nice way to open the hips and the hamstrings here. And then coming to center. Good. Hands on the mat behind you. We're going to lean back into the hands and just sweep the legs together, coming into our Dandasana, our staff pose. Okay, so feet hip width apart. Find those sits bones. Okay. Sit up tall. Let's inhale, sweep the arms up towards the sky. Exhale, bring right hand to the floor, left arm sweeps up and over. So coming into that lateral stretch. So you want to press into the right hand to ground the left sits bone. Turn your heart skyward, maybe gazing up towards the sky. And just trying to keep the front of the chest as open as possible. And on your next inhale, we'll come to center. And exhale, we'll take it to the other side. So left hand to the floor, right arm sweeps up and overhead, grounding that right sits bone, reaching out to your left. Shoulders draw away from the ears, your heart turns towards the sky. Reconnect with your breath, always returning to that present moment as often as you can. And then inhale, we'll come back up to center. And then reach your arms towards the sky. Take a deep breath in, creating more length. And then exhale, hinge at the hips and fold forward. Letting the hands rest wherever is comfortable, letting the forehead drop towards the legs. Knees can be bent here if you'd like. Just finding that stretch in the back body, reconnecting to the breath. And always being aware of that experience in each moment. And then with your next inhale, reach forward. Draw the navel in as you rise up, reaching towards the sky. And exhale, we'll take the hands to the floor. So take the hands behind you, fingers pointing towards the hips. The hands a little wider than the hips. And then plant your feet on the floor. And on an inhale, we're going to lift to reverse table, pressing the hips towards the sky. And then just looking up or towards your knees. Don't let the head drop all the way back. Let's take a deep breath in here. And then exhale, we're going to release, maybe sweeping the hips back behind you if you've got the space and straightening the legs. And then inhale, we'll come back up again. We'll do that a couple more times. So exhale, we're going to sweep the hips back behind if you've got that space. And then inhale, lift. And one more time, exhale, straightening the legs, coming down, and then inhale, lifting. And then go ahead and release the hips to the floor. Give yourself a big hug. And then inhale, sit up tall. And from here, we'll make our way to our hands and knees. So shifting onto table. Stack your shoulders over the wrists and spread the fingers wide, hips over knees, and tops of the feet flatten to the floor if possible. Let's introduce some cat-cows here. So as you inhale, taking your gaze upward, shoulders drawing back towards the hips, heart open. And then exhale, begin to tuck the tailbone, drawing the belly button towards the spine, tucking your chin, broadening through the shoulder blades. And inhale, back to our cow pose. Exhale to cat, lifting the back body towards the sky, and then just continue at your own pace. Connecting movement to breath and being aware of the sensations in the spine as you move. And then we'll inhale back to table, finding that neutral spine. Now bring your knees together, hands mat width apart. Okay, we're going to shift our hips over to the left and then press the hips back towards your heels. Take them over to the right and then forward. So big, slow circles with the hips. And the next time you come forward, pause, and then reverse the direction. And then coming back to center, finding table again. With the shoulders stacked over the wrists here, engage your core. Turn the eyes of the elbows forward, so that crease in the elbows facing the front of your mat. And then as you exhale, you're going to keep your shoulders stacked over the wrists, but you're going to bend the elbows back and just hover them over the floor for a moment. And then inhale, come back up. Exhale, shoulders stay over the wrists, elbows bend back, and we hover. And then inhale back up. So building that strength in our triceps, which will be helpful for shoveling. Let's do one more. And then we're going to bring our hands forward a little bit. Bring the heel of the hands where the fingertips just were. Spread the fingers really wide. Tuck your toes under. And let's come into our crotchety old dog. So keep the knees deeply bent for these first few breaths and find some movement. Wiggling around, maybe taking hips side to side, walking out the legs. And then coming into that full expression of the pose, your full expression of the pose. So whatever that means to you, maybe you keep the knees deeply bent, but just create some space here between the ears and the shoulders. Press your heart back towards your thighs. And then we're going to do just one of those, same thing we just did. So you're going to turn the eyes of the elbows forward and then lower the elbows almost all the way to the floor. So a little bit more challenging here. And then straighten the arms again, press the tailbone up and back. And then with your next inhale, take your gaze towards the top of your mat. And as you exhale, step or walk forward, coming into Uttanasana, standing forward fold. So feet hip width apart. Let's take ragdoll arms. So hands to opposite elbow crease. Crown of the head is reaching towards the floor, chin tucked. Knees can be as bent as you'd like. And if it feels good to move, you can sway a little side to side here. But bring your awareness to your feet. Feel the big toe mounds and little toe mounds and the heels pressing into the mat, keeping that connection to the earth. And then coming back to center, release the arms, bend the knees a lot. Inhale the arms up in front for our chair pose. So you should be able to see the toes just a little bit in front of the knees. Okay? So making sure that the hips are going back rather than knees going forward. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, we're going to sweep the arms down and back, folding over the bent knees. So imagine holding a beach ball behind the back. See if you can lower the booty a little bit more, maybe bringing your torso and your thighs parallel to the mat. And then inhale, sweep the arms forward. Exhale, take the arms down and back again. Inhale, sweep them forward. Keep your gaze down as you press into the feet and slowly rise all the way to stand. And then exhale, bring hands to heart center. And inhale, sweep the arms out and up towards the sky. Hold here, interlace the fingers except for the pointer finger. And then exhale, reach over to the right for a lateral stretch. Inhale, center. Exhale, reach over to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, open the arms wide, lift through the heart as you draw the tailbone down. And then inhale, reach up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, bow forward, slight bend in the knees, releasing back to your standing forward fold. And then inhale for a half lift and pause. So hands to the shins or maybe the thighs, just as long as it's not the knees. Trying to bring your torso parallel to the floor. Shoulder blades drawing back towards the hips. Ground into the feet and pretend to drag the heels apart. Navel to spine, lengthening from tailbone to crown of the head. So the head and neck are an extension of the spine. Take one more breath here. And then exhale, release back to the forward fold. Good. And then bend the knees deeply and step back to plank. So pause here in your plank. Really good pose for the core and really the entire body. But really think of engaging those core muscles, drawing the navel to the spine, wrapping the shoulder blades onto the back, and squeezing sits bones towards each other or outer hips in. Stay connected to the breath, stay present. So notice if you start anticipating the next move and see if you can just be present with this sensation, this experience. We'll take one more breath in. Exhale, drop your knees. And rather than moving through chaturanga, we're going to untuck the toes and just start to move your hips forward, shoulders back. So we're just coming right to that up dog position. Okay, and then turn your gaze over your left shoulder. And as you inhale, come to center. Exhale, turn your gaze over your right shoulder. Inhale, center. And then exhale, we'll start to make our way back to extended child's pose. So bring hips to heels, forehead to the floor, and turn your palms up towards the sky. And then bring your palms together, bend at the elbows, and bring your thumbs into the crook of the neck. And then as you bring the thumbs into the crook of your neck, walk your elbows forward. So we're trying to find a nice stretch in the triceps. So that should feel good after some of that tricep work we were doing earlier. And then release the palms back to the mat, way out in front of you, shoulder width apart, spread the fingers wide. And on your next breath in, we'll make our way back to downward facing dog. Trying to find that length in the spine, some kind of bend in the knees. And then on your next breath in, let's lift the left leg towards the sky. Exhale, bring left knee to left elbow as you shift forward. Inhale, press it back, three-legged dog. Exhale, left knee, right elbow, twisting as you come forward. And then inhale, take it back. Exhale, knee to nose. Pause here, stacking the shoulders over the wrists. Really press into the hands, lift your body away from the floor. And then with your next exhale, bring that foot forward for a lunge. Okay, if you have two blocks, this is sometimes a nice place to use them. One on either side underneath the hands. Okay. If not, just come onto your spider fingers. So lift your heart, gaze forward. So your gaze is on the floor, but way out in front of you. Left knee should be stacked over the left ankle. And then engage the inner thighs, like you're scissoring the legs together. Just finding that strength and stability through the lower body. Really pressing down through that front foot and through the sole of the back foot. We'll take a deep breath in here. As you exhale, start to straighten the front leg and bow forward. Inhale, come back to your lunge. Exhale, straighten the leg and bow forward for pyramid. Inhale to lunge. Exhale, pyramid, and let's pause here for a couple of breaths. So if it feels more comfortable, you can walk the hands back a little bit. Think of drawing left hip back, right hip forward as you ground into that left big toe mound. So that usually gives me a nice stretch through the front of the ankle, and it's great for shin splints if you ever get shin splints. With your next inhale, we're gonna bend that front knee again and drop the back knee. Okay. And then press down through that front foot, sweep the arms up towards the sky. Notice if your hips came back. See if you can keep the hips drawing forward so that you're feeling this stretch in that right hip flexor. And then we're gonna release the arms, interlace the fingers behind the back. Okay. So hips are moving forward. We're gonna inhale, lift through the heart. The arms are reaching towards that back foot. Heart is lifting, which this is a great stretch to do after shoveling, right? We're doing all this sort of action. This opportunity to open the chest and stretch the shoulders is really helpful. Okay. On your next inhale, release the hands, sweep the arms towards the sky. As you exhale, bring hands to heart center. This time you can take the hips back a little bit, drawing navel to spine. And then we're gonna come into prayer twist. So you're gonna bring right elbow to left knee, and then press the palms together and open your heart towards your thumbs. Shoulders draw away from the ears. And if you want an extra challenge, you could, with those back toes under, lift the back leg if you'd like. Of course, that's optional. Wherever you are, just find your breath. Remember, every inhale is a blessing. And then again, each time you exhale, just surrender yourself to the moment at hand. Let go of that commentary in the mind and just be present with each breath in and each breath out. With your next inhale, bring hands to heart center. And exhale, take your hands back to the mat, framing that front foot. And then we'll lift the back knee and step the front foot back, coming into plank. So pause here in plank, broadening through the shoulders, grounding through the hands, navel to spine, creating that length, strength, and stability in this pose. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, you can move through a vinyasa if you'd like, or you can do what we did before, dropping the knees and then just drawing the hips forward, untucking the toes, opening through the chest. We're already working our arms a lot. You don't necessarily have to do more chaturangas. Good, and then draw the navel in, bring hips to heels, extended child's pose. And take 3 deep breaths in and out here. And then with your next inhale, make your way back to downward facing dog. Pressing the tailbone up and back, creating that length in the spine. Relaxing the head and neck. And then on your next inhale, we'll lift the right leg high. Exhale, right knee, right elbow. Inhale, press it back. Exhale, right knee, left elbow to twist. Inhale, press it back. Exhale, knee to nose. Pause here with the shoulders stacked over the wrists. Press into the hands. Create as much space as you can between you and the floor. And then on your next exhale, we'll get that foot up between the hands. So coming into our lunge. Make sure the right knee is stacked over the right ankle. We're active in that back leg. Pressing back through the heel. You're on fingertips or maybe blocks. Heart is lifted, gaze is forward. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, press into the front foot, bow forward, straightening the front leg. And inhale to lunge. Exhale, straighten the leg and bow. Inhale to lunge. Exhale, straighten and fold. One more flow here. Inhale to the lunge. Exhale to this pyramid pose and hold. So maybe walking the hands back if that's more comfortable. Ground into the right big toe mound as you draw your right hip back, left hip forward, navel to spine, forehead to right shin. Notice where you feel the stretch the most. Is it in the back? Is it in the hamstrings, the glutes, the front of the shin and the ankle? And then on your next inhale, we'll come back to the lunge, bending that front knee, and then drop your back knee to the floor. Inhale, press into the front foot, reach your arms towards the sky. Keep the hips lunging forward to get that stretch in the left hip flexor. And then exhale, release the arms down. We're going to interlace the hands the odd way, so move everything over 1 digit. And then inhale, lift through the heart as the hands reach towards that back foot. Opening through the chest. And on the next breath in, we'll release, reach the arms towards the sky. As you exhale, bring hands to heart center. Drawing the hips back just a little bit to really get that navel drawing in. And then twisting. So left elbow to right knee. And then press the palms together. Open your heart towards your thumbs. Option to lift that back knee if you'd like. And then return to your breath. Expanding in all directions on that breath in, even though it's a little tricky when we're compressed like this. Each exhale brings you back to the present moment, back to the experience that you're having in this moment. And then inhale, bring the hands to heart center. Exhale, take your hands to the mat. Lift that back knee if it's not already, and step the front foot back to plank. Pause here in plank. Again, finding that strength, length, and stability. Stacking the bones helps to sustain the pose. So elbows over wrists, shoulders over elbows, legs are strong and engaged. Take a deep breath in. If you choose to flow, you can come through vinyasa, or you can just drop the knees, untuck the toes, find length in the front body for up dog. And And then exhale, extended child's pose. Take the forehead to the floor. Take 3 deep breaths here. And then on your next inhale, come back to downward facing dog. And with your next breath in, lift the left leg towards the sky. Exhale, slowly take it all the way through to the mat between your hands, finding your lunge. And then we're gonna place that back foot on the ground. So finding warrior one legs, and then inhale, rise up for warrior one. So front knee stacked over the ankle. The sole of the back foot is flat on the floor, but your toes are turned out slightly. So your heart is squared towards the front of your mat. Hips are moving in that direction, but we don't want to force it. Take a deep breath in here. As you exhale, we're going to bring hands to the hips and straighten the front leg. As you exhale, we're going to start to hinge in the hips here. Keep the legs straight, but try not to lock this front knee. And as you hinge, we're going to just come halfway, and you're going to draw left hip back, right hip forward. So find that halfway mark. If it's too difficult, you could step the back foot forward a little bit. But trying to bring your torso parallel to the floor. Really strongly pressing down through the feet, but then lift and wiggle the toes. Okay? You don't want to grip the mat with the toes. Lengthening from the tailbone to the crown of the head. On your next exhale, if you feel stable, you can release all the way forward. Or if you're not stable, just bring your hands to the floor or to blocks. And again, check the hips. Draw left hip back, right hip forward. Don't lock that front knee. On your next inhale, we'll press into the front foot, come back to that halfway mark. And then we're going to take our right hand to the floor or a block, preferably a block, to the inside of that left foot. Okay, so left hand is still on the hip, elbow pointing towards the sky. As you inhale, we're going to turn our heart towards the left. So finding the twist here for our revolved triangle. Okay, so automatically that left hip drew back. Stay grounded through the feet. And again, if you're feeling really wobbly or too much of a stretch, adjust the feet. So maybe stepping back foot forward a little bit more or further to the right for more stability. Now, if you feel like your shoulders are stacked, you could extend the left arm towards the sky. Otherwise, I recommend keeping that left hand on the hip. Good. And then on your next exhale, we're going to turn our torso towards the floor. We're going to switch hands. So bring the left hand to the block, and then right arm reaches towards the sky, or right hand to right hip. So more of a traditional triangle pose here. The stance and the feet might be a little shorter, but just trying to open your heart towards the right, finding some expansion through that front body. And then exhale again, we're going to turn the torso to the floor. We're going to bend that front knee, take your block out in front of you. We're going to step into the left foot and lift the right leg for standing split. Take a deep breath in here. And then exhale, we're going to bend both knees, tucking right knee behind the left for a Jiva squat. Inhale, straighten both legs. Exhale, bend both knees, Jiva squat. Now, if this hurts your knees, you don't have to do the squatting. Okay, inhale, extend. Exhale, Jiva squat. Inhale, extend, pause here. If you want to play around with the balance, feel free to walk your hands closer to the standing foot, or maybe even grabbing a hold of the ankle. I'm just playing around with this a little bit. Good, and then with both hands back on the mat, on your exhale, we're going to bend the standing leg, slowly release that right foot back to the mat in your lunge. And then step back foot, or sorry, front foot back, coming into plank. Good. This time we're going to come into a side plank from here. So as you exhale, either drop your right knee or drop both heels to the right, reach your left arm towards the sky. So again, you might have one knee down. Any variation is perfect, as long as it feels right in your body. Take a breath in, feel that left side body reach towards the sky. And then exhale back to plank. We'll take it to the other side. So as you exhale, maybe you drop the left knee or turn both heels to the left. Right arm reaches towards the sky, stacking the arms. Now think you're pressing your tailbone forward slightly, navel to spine to engage the core. Inhale and lift through that right side body. And then exhale back to plank. Good. Pause here, breathe in. Exhale, you can vinyasa or same thing, drop the knees and just come right into that up dog. Exhale, we're going to come right into down dog from here. Pressing the hips up and back, you can find a wiggle for a moment or two. And then just come back to that long spine. On your next inhale, we're going to lift the right leg high. Exhale, slowly and mindfully, bring that foot all the way forward, finding your lunge. And then we're going to drop that back foot and inhale up to warrior one. Okay. So again, front knee stacks over the ankle, back foot is flat on the ground, toes are at an angle. Take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, straighten the front leg, bring your hands to the hips. Press into the feet, inhale, grow tall. Exhale, we're going to start to hinge forward, coming halfway, and then pausing. So again, make sure you're not locking that front knee. It's so easy to do, so be really mindful of that. Draw right hip back, left hip forward. Pressing into the feet, but relaxing through the toes a bit. Reaching the crown of the head forward. On your next exhale, you can fold the rest of the way forward if you feel stable, or bring your hands to the floor or blocks for extra support. Again, right hip draws back, left hip forward. Notice where you're feeling this. Notice what the experience is without trying to change it in any way. With your next inhale, we're going to come back to that halfway mark. And then we're going to release left hand to the floor, or preferably block if you have one on the inside of that right foot. And then inhale, open your heart to the right. So find an involved triangle. And again, feel free to make an adjustment. If you feel like the legs are too far apart, step the back foot forward. If you feel like you're wobbling and struggling with stability, step the back foot more to the left. Okay? And then when you're twisted here, if you feel like the shoulders are stacked, then maybe you extend that right arm towards the sky. Otherwise, keep the hand on the hip. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale, turn your torso towards the floor. We're going to switch hands. So right hand comes to the block, left arm reaches towards the sky, or maybe you take it to the hip. So we're trying to open through the chest and the hips here in our modified triangle pose. Draw shoulders away from the ears, really grounding through that back foot. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale, release that left arm down. We're going to bend that right knee, bring the block forward. We're going to come into this standing split. So the hands should be right below your chest. You want the left toes pointing towards the floor and the hips level. So notice if you're opening through the hip and draw that left hip down. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, bend both knees, tucking left knee behind the right for a Jiva squat. Inhale, straightening both legs. We'll do that twice more. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. And again, exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten, and hold here. If you want an extra challenge, you can try walking the hands in closer to your standing foot, maybe even wrapping the hands around the ankle. Trying to have a little fun with it. You might wobble, you might fall out. Just stay connected to the breath. Good. And then everyone with both hands on the floor, on your next exhale, bend the standing leg. Gently place that left foot back down. And we'll step back to plank. Good. Hold here, breathe in. Exhale, maybe the right knee drops or both heels drop to the right. Inhale the left arm towards the sky for side plank, or take that left foot to the floor behind you and open your body towards the sky for wild thing. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, back to plank. Pause here, breathe in. Exhale, again, options. Maybe the left knee comes down, or keep the legs straight, drop the heels to the left. Inhale, right arm towards the sky. And then maybe bring right ball, the foot to the floor behind you, and then press your front body towards the sky for wild thing. That's hard to talk in this place. Breathe. And with your next exhale, we'll make our way back to plank. Pause here, breathe in. You choose your flow. Maybe you flow through, maybe you just come to that up dog. And then exhale, we'll all find child's pose. So knees wide. This time bring the hands back by the feet, forehead on the floor. Breathe into the low back. If it feels good, you can wiggle the hips a little side to side. On your next inhale, bring your hands to the floor by your knees and push your torso upright. We're gonna bring the feet out in front of us. We're actually gonna just come all the way back onto our back. So hug the knees in, roll back. Make your way onto your mat, on your backs, and then just take a few moments to rock side to side here. And then bring your arms alongside the body, extend your legs towards the sky. On your exhale, we're going to slowly start to lower both legs to the floor. Go ahead and let the low back lift as they lower. And if it's too much strain, you could bring the arms in underneath the body, and that's a little more supportive. So just slowly lowering the legs down almost all the way to the floor. And then inhale, we'll bring them back up. And then exhale, press your feet towards the sky, finding a little lift through the tailbone. And then inhale, relax. Exhale, slowly lower both legs. Trying to keep the legs straight. If it becomes too intense, stop there. And then come back up to center without swinging the legs. And then exhale, press the soles of the feet towards the sky, lifting the tailbone to engage the lower abdominals. And then exhale, we'll lower the legs. Inhale, bring the legs back up. Exhale, press the soles of the feet towards the sky, lifting that tailbone. Inhale, relax. And exhale. Last time, lower the legs as far as you can without too much strain. And then inhale, come back up. And exhale, just hug the knees in and rock side to side. Then release the feet to the floor. We're going to cross left leg over right, crossing at the knees, and then hug the knees in towards your chest. Or option is you can grab a hold of the ankles and pull the ankles down towards the hips. So the goal is just to find a stretch in the outer hips here. And then keep the legs crossed, but release the arms out in a T. On your exhale, we're going to take the hips 2 inches to the left. See if you can hop them there using your core, or if you need to, place the feet down. And then we're going to release the knees to the right, finding a twist. And again, you can modify this twist, take any kind of twist you like here. And just take a few moments to breathe consciously. Settle into the twists without a lot of effort. And then on your inhale, we're going to come back to center. We're going to cross right knee over left knee. Okay, so again, we're crossed at the knees. This is what I call, I got a P asana. And then hug your knees in, give them a tight squeeze, finding that stretch in the outer hips. Option to grab a hold of the ankles, pulling the feet apart and towards your hips. And then keep the legs crossed, but release the arms out from the shoulders. Again, if you can use your core, try to hop your hips 2 inches to the right and drop your knees to the left. So settling into a twist on this other side. Again, feel free to modify it. And try to find an opening through the chest. Releasing effort, closing the eyes, and just breathing consciously. And then inhale, come back to center, unwrap the legs. Hug the knees in one more time. Squeeze them in tight. Exhale, lift your head up as though you're coming up to kiss your knees. And then inhale, release and stretch out for Shavasana. Turn the palms up, roll the shoulder blades underneath the body. Let the toes just gently fall outward. Bundle up if you need to, or put a blanket over you. And then just settle in. See if you can hover somewhere between consciousness and unconsciousness. Like that moment just before you fall asleep. When time seems to stand still and nothing else matters. Just you and your breath on your mat. And take a deep breath in through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Start to introduce small movements back into the body, wiggling fingers and toes, ankles and feet. Stretching the arms out overhead, finding one more long full body stretch. And then rolling to one side in the fetal position, drawing knees in towards the body. Pausing here for a few more moments of peace and stillness. And then slowly and mindfully begin to make your way back to seated. Perhaps unmuting yourself to join in a collective Om if you'd like. We will meet with hands at heart center in Anjali Mudra. So I'll take a deep breath in. Thank you all for being here this morning, practicing with me. I hope you have a warm, safe, and fun weekend. Namaste.